Okay, hi everyone. We're going to let everyone trickle in. It's 12:59, so we'll give everyone this last minute to grab a coffee, make yourself comfortable, and we'll begin right at 1. Okay, so we can go ahead and get started. So thank you again, everyone, for attending our Western Entrepreneurship Speaker Series. We're back today with our 4th and final session of our e-commerce series with Shopify. I'm Alicia McLeod, Program Coordinator with Western Entrepreneurship, and today we are back with Amy McKay, Sales Executive at Shopify, and we'll be diving into part 2 of Beyond Your Online Store. If you missed part 1, that was on Tuesday, so be sure to check that out. We do have it on our Ivy webpage as well. It was sent out through email on Eventbrite. So go ahead and watch and catch up on that. We, of course, want to help you out with your time here. So if you attended all 4 of these live Shopify sessions, you could be eligible for a LinkedIn skill badge and or co-curricular records. So be sure to reach out to entrepreneurship@uwo.ca to see if you're eligible for that. As always, be sure to engage with us. Amy loves questions. So be sure to keep your questions for Amy to the end, where we will open it up for the audience to ask some questions. But we'll go ahead and get started. So Amy, over to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Again, thank you guys last week for all of the questions. It was amazing just to see your engagement and also, to help me navigate what I'm presenting today. So again, thank you for that. I'm Amy from Shopify. Typically, you'll find me assisting merchants from Shopify from 1 to 20 locations on Shopify and point of sale. So helping people get online with their physical retail stores, or helping people just get online in general. So that's what I do at Shopify. In my past, I've also have extensive experience in the retail industry, running stores, opening stores. And then on the other end, I was also working for a company that helped build omnichannel and e-commerce experience for up-and-coming brands. So hopefully I can put some of that weave some of that into the conversation today. And again, please, if you have any questions, I can definitely follow up with anything. We have so many resources at Shopify. Even while I was putting together these slides today, it was really amazing to see all of the, even like video tutorials, the webinars that we have set up for people either just getting started or like you guys were interested in running a drop shipping business. So all this is available to you. And okay, let's get started with today's session. Beyond your online store. So we're going to go over 4 topics today. Last time I ended off with ending with all the social channels that you can use on Shopify and your social channels and how to sell through Shopify. Number 2, one of my favorite topics to talk about, which is the importance of emails. It sounds kind of crazy that's my exciting thing to talk about, but when you see the impact that it actually has, you'll understand for sure. Influencers and giveaways, lots of things to navigate there. It's a really tough industry, tough to navigate. So hoping to shed some light. Pop-ups and markets. We'll talk about, I have a great story of current customers and how they're doing this. But let's say in a post-corona world, how this is playing out. And I work with a lot of US merchants who are able to take advantage of this as well, and how I see this industry will go in the future. At the end, I added in some additional information on drop shipping and packaging because you guys were interested in last session. So I'll also review some of that. Okay, let's go. Marketing and social channels. As I mentioned last week, we have a ton of ability to share your products on additional channels. So this is I took a few screen grabs of what Shopify's admin looks like because I found that this was the easiest way to explain it. So let's say you have a product on Shopify. This is actually how you add the product in. So you see I have a product description, I have a title, I have an image, and the ability to be on Shopify and share with other channels. If you were using a platform that didn't sync with Instagram, Facebook, Amazon, you'd actually have to create a product within their platform. This would not sync your inventories. The benefit here is that once you're ready to get on Shopify and sell a product on any of these channels, you can actually just decide where to share it. So it's just as easy as a click of a button if you have the product image. To add to all these channels to sell. So let's say you have a huge TikTok following, or you have a huge Pinterest, a lot of Pinterest clicks. This could be a way to reach an audience without having to create new and additional content to sell. If you guys are interested in any of these additional channels, also please feel free to reach out because this is something that's covered a lot. I'm not going to spend too much time on this today because I did mention it last week. The big topic I want to talk about today is email marketing and why it's so important. Email marketing, just as a descriptor to get started, is the practice of sending marketing to prospective and current customers via email to help educate, build loyalty. Email is an especially important tool in relation to e-commerce because it's used to sending transactional, promotional, and lifecycle messaging. So not just are you communicating with your customers, you're actually continuing to remind them that you exist. So why is it the key to e-commerce success? Well, the reality of website traffic is that new and returning visitors is something that you want to keep. You want to keep them coming back. If your e-commerce business hasn't taken the time to adopt email marketing, you're likely leaving this up to other merchants to come in and steal your customers. I'm gonna to pivot on this. I'm gonna go into 4 reasons why you should consider using email marketing and why I think it's important. Okay, so an email list helps you build ongoing customer relationships. So while search engines and social media platforms are great to get discover future customers, it's harder to get them to continue to visit your website from that. But email still remains the best way to re-engage your customers over time. Number 2, it's incredibly effective at driving sales. So, this is stronger in certain industries than it is others, and those returns, they're never guaranteed, but similar research has said that it's the highest performing channel, and it frequently outperforms the alternatives like Instagram or organic search, as you can see on the chart here. Number 3 is email can affect the 3 main growth multipliers. So 3 main growth multipliers that we're talking about is increasing total numbers of customers, increasing the number of purchases, and increasing the average order value. That is how many products are in that person's cart. Another way to win back customers is those fun automated welcome. When you make a first purchase on a website and they're like, welcome to company. This is a way to increase conversion, bounce back. So if someone makes a purchase and then doesn't purchase within 20 days, they send out an email that will be like, remember us, life cycle campaigns. This can highlight the product you as a customer. So thanks for being a loyal customer. Here's 20% off your next purchase. Oh, this is my favorite one. because email is not influenced by third-party gatekeepers. So a lot of people, when they talk about marketing, they're thinking about Instagram, they're thinking about Facebook. All this can change on a whim. They can decide that the algorithm doesn't want to show you your posts anymore. They can decide that, for example, Facebook groups for a long time and Facebook events were a great way to get people to notice your brand. Well, the Facebook algorithm is changing and it always is going to change. So you're not always going to be top of mind for all of your customers. So you have control of your email list. You can communicate with your customers how you want and when you want. Of course, we'll talk about what the content looks like when you send it out to customers, but it's the best way to access them. This is talking about cost of acquisition. So cost of acquisition is and the definition, just so we're clear, in case you guys have never heard of it before, it's the cost to get someone on your website and check out with a product. So in regards to email marketing, the number in the industry average is $87 to actually get someone on your website to make a sale. That's 5 times more than it will cost you to market to your existing customer base. Okay, now you're thinking, okay, great, Amy, we got it. We need to start an email list, but how do I get people to sign up for my emails? I don't know if we have any of you out there who are the type of people who have like a spam email, so they never unsubscribe, they never check their spam folders. I personally am the type of person who I keep my inbox pretty neat, and I'm actually a true customer of any retail company who is sending me emails. So you're definitely looking at 2 different types of customers here, but let's think about how you start that email list. You as a customer, you're looking for thoughtful, engaging content. So think about that when you first start to think about what you're putting into your information. But let's start it. So start building your list. The first thing to do, a lot of you have existing Shopify stores or you're thinking about starting one. Well, the first thing is to set up a pre-launch page. On Shopify, it allows you to add kind of a gate page. So this is a page that says like, usually I see people make this mistake all the time. It says like enter, instead of putting, the option is put in your email to get new updates about our website launching soon. That would be the ideal scenario. I see people make the mistake of just leaving that password protected page up. It really doesn't engage any of your potential customers. So you're losing out on all those free clicks that you potentially, could have made customers out of. Your second way of doing this is collecting emails and sales from customer accounts. So let's picture this. You've already opened up your Shopify web store. You've taken that password protected page off, and someone makes their first purchase on your store. They are giving you their email address. They're giving you their customer information. You can actually use that to re-engage that customer later on. Later on, you're also going to start to segment your email customer list, which is another session in itself. But just know that that's an option. The third way to start building email lists with, before you even start, is to put opt-in forms all across your website. So a couple options that we suggest are your header. So putting like sign up for a newsletter, maybe not newsletter, maybe it's for promos, information about us, header, navigation, and footer. Second recommendation from us is your About Us page. your blog, which we talked about last week, and your resource page, or a pop-up form. There's the classic pop-up as soon as you log into a website. This could be to get 10% off, which we're going to talk about in the next point. The next point is to number 4, our last reason of why and how to start building your email list is to accelerate signups with lead magnets. So too often they assume that receiving a newsletter is a compelling enough reason to send that out. Well, it's not. People with that spam folder are not necessarily taking a look at their emails on a daily basis. And weekly emails could mean anything. It could mean, it's not compelling. So here are a few options to create, to get your customer to opt in. Offer exclusive deals and discounts. Maybe this is 10% off your first purchase, or I really love the idea of offering loyalty points, opt into our rewards program. Think about like your Sephora points. Run a sweepstakes or a contest. Contests are highly underrated. They get a lot of following and quick following. Access to educational content. Seen a lot of businesses pivot to this educational piece over the last, I would say, 6 months here at Shopify, layering just different ways to access their customers on top of their traditional business. I hope that answered all of your email questions and how to get started. Before I move on to the next topic, I just want to say how important it is to keep your customers re-engaged. So setting up calendars for yourself on how often you should be sending out emails, making sure you're staying really on top of your metrics. So if an email you sent out last week made a sale, figure out what helped you make that sale. Was it a great product image? Was it great copy? All those things can make a huge difference. Don't try to reinvent the wheel. Just do what works and listen to your customers when it comes to email marketing. Next up, influencers and giveaways. I used to work in influencer marketing, not myself, but I used to manage influencers for that company that I mentioned that I built omnichannel solutions for. And it's a tough industry where people are always either looking for something for free, they have fake followers. We're talking about Instagram and YouTube and any of the social media channels specifically for now. But it's definitely a tough industry to navigate. If you're not careful, it can also be really expensive and not always generate the return that you expected. If this is the route you want to go, and it is a really great route if you can kind of get the right people in place, I'd recommend starting small. So starting small, using people like family or friends to promote you. Then on top of that, being really picky with who you choose. Only go with influencers who truly suit your brand. And there's so many definitions of influencers in this day and age. I think that it's really important to think about your brand and who kind of reflects that. And people who really believe in your brand will want to work with you for not a crazy amount of money. They'll really want to work with you for the content and to help you grow your business. So with that in mind, I don't know if you guys know about micro and macro influencers, so I'm just going to go into the definition of the two. Macro influencers are really what people think about when they think of true influencers. So it's like 1 million, over 100,000. In this segment, it's easy to get fake followers. It's easy to get people with unengaged following. So when you're working with these influencers, make sure that you're getting either, and most of them do this, by the way. This isn't crazy to ask for. Ask for their metrics, ask for their click-throughs, ask for their engagements. They usually will have like a PDF to send you if they're charging big bucks. They'll have a kind of a PR package to send you of why you should be paying them the big bucks. On the flip side, micro influencers have a lot of impact. So some people who have like 2,000 to 5,000 followers could do posts for free. Depends on what you're kind of asking them to do. They have this higher engagement, so they trust their community really trusts them. It's a way to track loyal engagement and grow small from just their audience. Hope that answered your guys' questions on macro versus micro. Now I'm going to go into some ways that you can use influencers. And also there are a lot of, before I get into this, because I've had a lot of experience in this, in this section, make sure you have contracts with them. You can download influencer contracts off the internet anywhere and use them because it can, there's emails back and forth, but you want to make sure that if you pay them, you're going to get the work out of them that you deserve. So different ways you could use influencers. Let's say you're putting a new product out into the market and you're not sure if it's going to take off, or you're not sure about the specific logo. Well, put it out there to your small network of micro influencers, get them to test it and give you feedback. They get sent products all of the time. They'll be the ones to tell you what they like and don't like about this product. The second option, have them wear and show off your product, have them tag you. This is the most simple way to do it on like YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. Content creation. We talked about content creation last week, but if their style and their grid feed matches exactly what you're looking for, it's a great way to get free content or paid content that you can then repost on your product webpage, your Instagram, your social media, and it's a great way to get free content. Coupon codes and giveaways. This is an easy way to track. So if you're sending out to a larger macro influencer and you really want to see your return on investment in like not just hypothetical, like clicks through your website, coupon code is a great way to do it, because when they redeem the code on Shopify, so example, Amy posts on Instagram a great t-shirt, get this t-shirt for 20% off, use coupon code Amy20. I'm a customer, I go on your website, put in Amy20. You're gonna, as a Shopify store owner, get a report on that discount code, seeing how many times that has been used and how many sales Amy20 that discount code got. So that's a great way to track an ROI in an industry that's very hard to track. Return on investment, in case you didn't know that one. Giveaways is a great way to help grow your social following as well. I see people do teaming up with other merchants with larger followings. This is a great way to start to grow followings as well. Influencer marketing, again, I could go on forever and ever about this. Just be careful, because there is a lot of fake followers out there, a lot of ways to get those numbers without actually earning them. So, go based off your gut and take a slow approach when it comes to influencers. Another one that I have a lot of experience in here is pop-ups and markets. So how to build your customer base. I often talk to customers on a daily basis, and they're not collecting, and we're back to emails, I know, and they're not collecting their emails from their customers who are in their store. This should be seen, pop-ups, markets, and retail should be seen as a customer acquisition point. Once you have their email, then You can continue to retarget them to remind them to keep purchasing from you. I think this is an underrated way to get customers. It's a true growth hacking approach. In my opinion, it's the one of the easiest, cheapest ways to acquire new customers. Now you may be saying, hey, Amy, we live in Toronto or Ontario. We're completely shut down. We can't do pop-ups or markets. Totally, I understand. But what this is causing is actually a lot like coronavirus in general is actually causing a lot of retail spaces to go out of business. So what that means for you guys, anyone starting a new business, there's going to be a lot of empty spaces with, already the like racks, maybe the display cases that you need to go in and do a month or two pop-up shop when things do start to open back up again. So I can see, and we talk about this a lot internally at Shopify, the increase in retail that's going to happen once coronavirus is a little bit more settled and things start to open up. I worked with a merchant who I don't know if you guys are familiar with Mad Happy. If you're not, definitely check them out. That's how they started. They had an e-commerce presence. They sold sweatsuits, unisex sweatsuits, and they actually just traveled and used vacant retail stores to have people come in and touch their product. And now they have a ton of additional stores. We're going to also talk about, there's another example in the next slide. So anyways, we'll get into it. Okay, what's a pop-up? A pop-up is a short-term temporary retail space where brands, usually ones without a physical presence, like I mentioned, can interact with current customers and communicate their message or potential new ones. Online-only brands often use pop-up shops to help them decide whether exploring a world of offline sales makes sense for them, like opening a new brick and mortar store, without them having to make a full-on commitment. So why run a pop-up shop? Sorry, I went over some of this already, but sales are just one of the benefits of opening up a pop-up shop. Here are some other ones to consider. So create an in-person connection with customers. While your online customers may already know you, you have a potential to talk to customers in the flesh and get them to see them face to face and ask them questions about different things that they're feeling, different products that they picked up. It also plays an important omni-channel role in your brand to attract new customers. Build buzz and awareness. A temporary pop-up shop can encourage. So this is a point where it can build buzz and awareness. So treat this concept more as an event. So promoting new products, kicking off major campaigns, or a way to increase overall brand awareness. It can also be a way of sensing urgency. So maybe you have like a limited run of t-shirts. Maybe you want to put them at a pop-up and have them sell out. This is a great way to get people lined up at the door in order to make a sale. Test offline selling as a sales channel. So maybe you do want to go into physical brick and mortar, but you're not sure how. It's very expensive. You have to think about overhead, such as employees, things that you'll never think of, like buying hangers, buying, tissue paper bags. Again, staff, very expensive to have. So it's a great way to see if this is something that you want to continue to take your brand. This is the example that I wanted to come up with was eyeglass brand. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Warby Parker. They are a Shopify brand, and they actually initially tested physical pop-up shops throughout North America, and now they actually have 90 physical retail environments. So think about it this way: you never know how your customers are going to respond in person. You could end up growing a physical spaces for your retail. The last point here is a reason why to start a pop-up shop is to drive more sales during busy seasons. So as we at Shopify preach, customers who are selling on our platform, they sell 80% of their product in the months of September to December. That's 80% of their year. That's a lot of sales to do. So you're maximizing during that time. I see a lot of people in a post or pre-coronavirus world where they would set up pop-up shops to even snowball on top of that in order to sell out. The last one that's not on here, but I wanted to make sure I got to, was to unload older inventory. So another reason to have a pop-up shop is, there's a lot of retail stores who run like, weekly sales or monthly sales. But I see a lot of people posting on Instagram. I used to work in an environment where there was a lot of like sample sales. It's a great way to drive people to one location in order to make a huge volume of sales for one day. So get rid of samples, get rid of all your off-season stock and aging merchandise that might have a shorter life value, free up some cash flow so you can prepare for a busier season. I love talking about pop-up shops. I've used to work for a company and I helped them open pop-up shops all over North America. So please, if you have any questions about what the logistics of that looks like, please ask me. Okay, so last Tuesday, or this Tuesday, a few days ago, you guys had a ton of questions on something called dropshipping. If you missed it, it is recorded and you can go back and listen to the recording on your guys' YouTube page. But in the meantime, I'm just going to talk to you a little bit about what dropshipping is and how you can download the channel. So the easiest dropshipping process is through Shopify websites. It's through or below. You can source millions of products on this platform, and it's actually sourced through something called AliExpress, which I'm sure you guys know about. You can import directly into your Shopify store with the click of a button. And if a customer buys something from your Shopify store, or below automatically fulfills it from AliExpress and ships directly to your customer. So all you have to do is double check the order details are correct, and they'll ship directly to your customer. In the dropshipping business model, just remember this. Creating your website and your own brand is the most important piece. And you're also responsible for shipping costs. And some of those costs are covering some of those costs may not result in a good profit margin. So just be really careful when you're doing an entirely dropshipping account. The other thing you guys had a lot of questions on was packaging. So I've added this slide here on Archaea, and what they do is they create really cute packaging for Shopify merchants, and you can start as little as 10 products per unit. So let's say you wanted to start a t-shirt company and you wanted to order in those t-shirts in-house, your house, and ship those out. You can order as little as 10 boxes. So it's a good way to start small if you're interested in really branding that customer experience. All right. Hope you guys have some questions for me today. I'm ready. Yeah.
Awesome. So we already have a bunch. So
okay.
Everyone, as we do have the rest of the time here for questions, so feel free to pop them in the Q&A. We will start at the top here. We have a question here from Nick. It says, do you have to pay a commission or anything when you sell via the social channels?
No.
Okay.
It's just, there's no, all the channels on Shopify are actually included in the $29 fee. Use all those channels. I believe the only one that does cost additional is any of those bidding channels like Farfetch.
Okay, great. A question here. Does it cost more as I launch my products on additional channels? Do more channels mean more costs?
No, you can have as many channels as you'd like.
Okay. Question here from Tina. What is the range for influencer cost?
Oh man, this can range from, hey, Amy, post this lipstick on your social media stories for like your Instagram stories for $0 to, I don't know if you guys know We Were What. I got a quote from her one time about 5 years ago. It was $10,000 for a mention.
All right. Crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a big range here, folks.
Yeah.
Okay. Question here from Nick. It says, are influencer contracts from online legally binding?
Please make them legally binding. There is ways to do it. You can have, there's ways to get them to, with something like DocuSign, create a digital template. If you're planning on doing this, it's hard to get influencers to, like if they agree up front, you want them to follow through on the posting. So recommended to get some sort of legal doc from them to signing off that they will post or they will review, just because they get so bombarded with other products.
For sure. Still on the influencer road here, it says, should I be paying other fees to launch a relationship with an influencer on top of how much I'd be paying them already? Shipping fees for my products.
Say that again. Can you repeat the question?
Yep. Let me find it. Should I be paying other fees to launch a relationship with an influencer on top of how much I'd be paying them already, including shipping fees for my products?
I think I understand the question. So some influencers will allow you to have them like on type of retainer. So you pay them, like they'll do like kind of a brand relationship with you, and they'll do like 3 posts a month for, let's say, $500 and a package of clothing. Everything's negotiable when it comes to influencers. If they really like your product, maybe they'll post for free. You can definitely, negotiate back and forth. And then I think you're asking about like, do I charge them to ship the products to them? I don't like that because I don't like that approach, but I know it's used frequently. It's just doesn't seem as authentic as you want to build a brand relationship with them. It's more like it's a give and take kind of scenario where that's just kind of like a taking scenario. I see it as.
For sure. Okay. Question here. It says, if you want to start a more premium or luxury brand, wouldn't a 10% off offer on email sign up lower your brand value?
Yeah. Whenever I speak with a luxury brand, I know I don't even mention discounts. When it comes to luxury, usually it's the bit you want to kind of promote like the scarcity of the product. So it's like keep up to date with my email launches because our stuff sells out quickly and you want to be the person with the product. So yeah, if you are launching a luxury brand, I would stay away from discounts of any kind just for market perception. Again, this is my opinion of working with merchants like this. If you feel confident and you want to test things out, go with what your customer, with how your customers are going to tell you what they want, and listen to your customer, how they like to shop.
Awesome. We have one that says, could a farmer's market be a pop-up?
Definitely. I worked with a merchant last year who sold spicy beans, and they had 9 farmers markets going at the same time. And they were over $1 million company selling spicy beans at farmers markets.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Awesome. Another one about pop-ups. Do you tend to pay for pop-ups?
Yes. So typically you're renting the space for a period of time. I've run pop-ups before where I've went in with different brands that maybe are like maybe you're a clothing company and you have a friend that has a jewelry company. Maybe you can split the costs of a location for 2 weeks, and then you can do a giveaway. You can do it, have influencers attend, and really kind of maximize on that one weekend. But typically you do pay unless maybe you had a friend who had a shop who maybe opened up a corner of their shop for you to kind of pop up in. That's also really popular. It's called a shop and shop.
Awesome. There is a question here around co-curricular record and also the LinkedIn skill badge. So go ahead and email the entrepreneurship@uwo.ca if you have attended all four. That'll look a little bit different for everyone. If you are a student, then it could be on your co-curricular record in addition to the LinkedIn skill badge. These are newer for us, so we've kind of designed a instructional video of how to add it to your LinkedIn. So just, give us a couple weeks because we do have to iron that out with LinkedIn. But again, email entrepreneurship@uwo.ca and we'll flag it and make sure to get back to you on if you're on instructions and if you're eligible for sure. Back to Amy questions. How can services be promoted online? Are there any channels where services, for example, online dance classes, can be promoted?
Yeah, I would say it's all about, how you are creatively going after your customers. I think, dance classes, to me, TikTok would be your number one channel of right now. I would say that would be your number one channel of getting to your customers. And then it links back to a product page that has you sign up for your first class. Yeah, so definitely I would say any of what we've talked about can go with a service.
Awesome. We have one from Sarah. It says, are there any hidden fees with Shopify?
So when you join Shopify, it's $29. And then when someone makes a purchase from your website, you're actually charged a merchant services fee. This is the charge that goes back to you for a customer using their credit card. It's called card not present rates. Sorry, I'm getting really deep into this, but it's called card not present rates. And it's just a fraud protection so that we cover the cost of you potentially taking a fraudulent credit card. It's the same across every shop, every platform, and e-commerce platform. It's all the same fee.
Great. Question from Linda. What sets Shopify apart from other key e-commerce platforms?
Yeah, I mean, I was born for this question. I see merchants who come from other platforms, and typically why they come to us is the multi-channel selling, unifying your platform and having inventory all in one place or multiple locations if you're in if you have multiple retail locations. Listen, there's nothing wrong with starting a Squarespace website or starting a Lightspeed website. We're just the industry leaders when it comes to e-commerce, and it's because of our fast checkout process and Shopify Pay. Those are the major reasons why people come to us. But hey, like a Square website is also really easy to start. I just use Shopify, sell Shopify, and the reason why we stand apart is because of those reasons.
Amazing. And they do amazing webinars. So,
Yeah.
Okay, question here. How do you know when to turn your Shopify into an official business?
I think that's a legal question that I'm not really equipped to answer. If you're selling, I know that if you're selling a product, you should have some sort of either personal business account, not necessarily an enterprise or LLC, some sort of business account so you can be taxed properly when you need to go to do your personal taxes.
Great. And one here, it says, I have Shopify Lite, the much less popular option. Are there any add-ons, apps, channels that are compatible?
I think you only get the buy button. So the ability to add a buy button onto your Facebook, but yeah.
Okay. So question here from Tina, you touched on it a little bit in part one, but she says, how do you use Instagram to sell a product?
Yeah. So you actually just on this is exactly how to do it. Go on the left-hand side of your admin on Shopify, click on sales channels and add Instagram as a sales channel. Once that's synced, you post a product, it'll allow you to add that little shopping bag and link a product.
Perfect. This goes back to the email marketing. Can you please recommend any good email service providers that can be used for email marketing?
I can't believe I missed that. Yes, it's available within your Shopify account. We launched email marketing earlier this year. Before we were integrated with something called MailChimp or Constant Contact. We no longer are integrated with them because we have our own. It's free with your subscription.
Awesome. Question from Rima. Do you recommend putting social media badges on your website? Won't that take customers away from your website, which you don't want?
No, you want, because now all of your channels are shoppable. So you're going to enable Instagram shopping. You're going to enable Facebook shopping. It's just a different view of how they're going to see your products. The whole idea of being on Shopify is allow your customers to purchase from anywhere. If you have your phone on you and you want to sell them the shirt off your back, you have that point of sale card reader to sell them. I like promoting. If I like a brand, I'll look for their Instagram and click on it and then follow so I can stay with updates. So I like the badges.
Awesome. We have a clarifying question around the first question was around commission. So he's clarifying, it says, do I pay the social channels anything when I link my post to my shop?
No, this is a kind of partnership that Shopify has worked out with these social channels. So no, it's a partnership within Shopify. So no.
Awesome. We have another follow-up question on your advice around the luxury brands. They said, what are best practices for luxury brands to get emails or promote the brand in general?
Oof, influencers. Like, I think luxury, the best way is to get influencers, get them to make their first purchase and then continue. Like with luxury, I think it's all about a small subset of customers that are extremely loyal. So getting those initial 5 transactions through, continuing to make sure that you're following up with them every week with new product and turning them into a loyal customer base, I think is the best way to sell luxury.
Amazing. Another question around influencers, best way to reach out to influencers. Does emailing work better than DMing?
Yeah, I think if you are an influencer, you are consistently bombarded by DMs all the time. And stay away from let's collaborate. I think their influencers are looking for much more than a collaboration. They want a way to elevate their brand as well. So there's lots of creative ways out there to get influencers and get your buy-in. Use it as a way. Think about like you're attracting another customer base that's going to help you sell your brand. So how would you like to be approached if you were going to be doing something for free? Again, they are real people, and they can spot a canned message from just a subject line. So just be creative.
Awesome. We just have a comment here around the spicy beans saying, yes, I should stop giving away my spicy beans to family and friends with sales like that.
For real. Like you can, and this is kind of goes back to like my original slide on Tuesday. It was like, what should I sell on Shopify? You can sell anything on Shopify. You're starting at like the example I gave the other day, which was you're starting a podcast and you want to sell mugs to your family and friends. They'll support you. They'll buy those spicy beans. Give them first one for free, and then give them a coupon, family and friend coupon code.
For sure. Awesome. And we have one more question here, and then I'm just going to reiterate some things again. Question from Tina. You did touch on this a bit, Amy. It says, how do I handle payment fraud for high ticket items in Shopify?
Yeah, so we cover, it's called like chargeback guarantee on Shopify. If you want to go to our help docs, just search security on my checkout, and you'll see once you start getting sales on your website, it tracks if a purchase is fraudulent, possibly fraudulent, or potentially fraudulent, and you can decide to take that payment or not take that payment.
Awesome. Okay, so that actually wraps up our questions. Thank you again, Amy. Awesome presentation and so much information. We've seen so much engagement over the last 4 sessions. There was a couple of comments that were coming in around that you did miss the other sessions. So good news is they are recorded. We did had last week, we had Emily from the Shopify team come in. The first session was intro to e-commerce. Second one was creating effective and beautiful product pages. And then Amy took over this week and did Beyond Your Online Store part 1 and 2. Those are all recorded, which is awesome. So we will be following up with an email through your Eventbrite registration email that you put in. We'll be sure to send you those recordings. And again, be sure to reach out to the entrepreneurship@uwo.ca for those LinkedIn skill badges and for the co-curricular. We did have some interest. But as always, thank you all for attending. We'll get those recordings out to you. Amy, fabulous job. And we can't wait to work with you again in future.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Bye.